talk to us about the alternatives then. We've briefly touched on renewable energy. Practically, what would that mean for South Africa? I know that there are people, and I'm not entirely sure of the validity of this argument, who say it's actually just really expensive for us to diversify our energy production at this point. Is it?
So, well, Happy can edge in here, but what I think that needs to come into place is more robust sort of systems, like that are transdisciplinary through departments, like the Department of Trade and Industry working together to develop a specific sphere where renewable energy can start being renewable energy components can start being produced in South Africa. Then you create a market for jobs, and from that then you have people being more conscientized to renewable energy, and then it's almost like a lifestyle change that also comes along with the consumers as well as the industry. So if industry starts looking at a production system more as a holistic system as opposed to modular, then you have that change, and I think that's where it comes in. It's about working with different departments, because Eskom sits in the Department of Public Enterprises, and Department of Energy makes the policy that goes around it. The Department of Environmental Affairs has the impacts of that, and then you have like the Department of Trade and Industry sitting in a whole different space where it's like, okay, we working on something completely different. It's more of bringing a collaborative space where we can move South Africa into a really progressive state.
Well, the costs of renewable energy are going down far quicker than nuclear will ever go down. Even if half of the said plants in the world have been completed, they will not decrease as fast as renewable energy. For example, in South Africa, renewable energy around solar and wind has come down faster than any other technology that can generate electricity. That includes coal with all the subsidies that are there. So renewable energy is far more affordable than anything else. So and it also depends on what you're using it for. So if we talk about renewable energy on top of your house, it's a different story than when we're saying we're producing renewable energy for a community, because then the costs benefits are very different. Largely, when you talk about the cost of renewable energy, you're talking about cents. And now when we're talking about, cents per kilowatt, yeah? When you start talking about, and this is about the price you pay, right? The price you're supposed to be paying. When you start talking about nuclear, you're talking about rands. That's just the kilowatt that you're paying. And if you're talking about coal, when we're looking at all the externalities as well as the costs which have already been deferred towards us, the taxpayers, other than being a consumer of electricity, you're already talking about rands. So I
don't think you need to tell any South African that, because it is certainly so heavy on the South African's pocket at the moment.
Yeah, there's inflation, there's electricity cost rise, there's also, well, at least now we've got a reprieve from the fuel, but the costs are going up, and the thing is, what we're finding is that commodity prices or fuel prices around fuels, coal, oil, are going to start to increase in the midterm for us as consumers. For people who are directly engaged in it, might be dropping, but for us as South Africans, it's going to increase, and we can't do anything about it unless we start changing how we use it and what we use it for, and that comes with a lot of transitioning, as Nyoka said.
Nyoka, I think what you said about us being responsible for our energy supply really hit home, because at the moment with the centralized power supply, electricity is something that is far removed from every South African. It arrives, or in the case of load shedding, does not arrive. We have absolutely no interaction with it. We don't know where it comes from. We just pay for it and use it. And the idea of taking responsibility for our energy consumption is a fascinating one. Is this something that we'd be able to do more effectively if we had smaller electricity plants, perhaps creating renewable energy in our communities?
I would definitely say so. So, I always think about it like how often do you know where the energy that's produced? It's like Lepelale, like quite far out. Have you ever been there? Do you know what it looks like? It's actually not very pretty. And here, when you see it, you think, oh man, like that's what I'm putting into that system and I'm taking out of that system. So I think that if we could see where our energy was coming from, because nobody wants a coal-fired power station in their backyard. Like, it's not very pretty, but it's also like when you see that and you realize that that's what you're doing to your surroundings, but to your own habitat, it's a sense of almost, I don't know if you've heard of this called NIMBY, not in my backyard. Like, I don't want this, but I would really like the resultant of it. So the benefits of it, yeah. So with renewable energy, you can take control over that. If you had a community hall that maybe had decentralized, like a mini grid sort of system, and you could see that that's where my energy was coming from. Okay, oh, it wasn't very sunny today. Okay, we have to use energy from the battery. You work in a community system and bringing about that sense of community as well, not just individual responsibility, but making sure like, hey, I saw that person's light on in the middle of the day and they're not home. They're wasting our energy. Whereas if you see your neighbor on now, you're just like, oh, it doesn't make a difference. But once you build that sort of spirit, it's very difficult to get rid of. And I think that that's where we should be heading towards. And being involved in, because this is we are asking for more energy. We're asking for this. So why do we feel like the responsibility doesn't lie with us?
Now, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Happy, won't you please just quickly tell us where we can find Project 90 by 2030?
You can find us on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter, and of course on the World Wide Web. We've got a website as well. Yeah, it's called Project 90 by 2030, and it's all numbers. Yeah.
Thank you both for joining us
Thank
today.
you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.